Welcome and good day. You are watching a report from the Eyes Open Network. Today is November 6th, 2015. Today I want to talk about the Middle East as sort of a general term. I've spoken before on various topics regarding World War III and the proxy wars and this all the different. But I wanted to really. I was watching uh, another video and just doing some research on what's going on, day to day. And it all started with the 50 special ops coming from the United States, and I just started to look into that a little bit more because really, did they only send 50? Come on, I can't even believe they only sent 50. So my thought was, or once I was watching this other report, and it just brought to light that, for those of you who feel that World War III has not begun, or that World War III is not going to begin, or that, there's just a lot of propaganda and none of this is real. Let's just take a look at the map for a minute and look at the size of this country, Syria, and let's think about what's actually happening there. Okay, you've got your Syrian army, obviously the people who are backing Bashir al-Assad, his army. You've got the Russians, you got the Iranians, you've got the Islamic State of ISIS and all their other crazy brethren. You've got the moderate rebels that are being supported by the U.S., both with weapons and training. You have, which arguably could very quickly blend into the whole ISIS thing. So you have U.S. Now we have U.S. boots on the ground, even though Obama claims that there are no boots on the ground. We got these 50 special ops training, 1,500, 2,000 soldiers or a piece. In a few, or pardon me, like in a group of 50, you're probably looking at training a number of different sort of 1,000 group pods of moderate rebels. There's been some reports, and these are unconfirmed reports, but there's been some reports that the special forces have already started to engage in firefights with Russian troops, because just last week or earlier this week, Russia ramped up their forces from 2,000 to 4,000. So there's just a lot going on. So back to the people. So we got the U.S. in there. We've got the other NATO ally forces that are working with the rebels to oust Assad. You have the Kurds that are already in there. You've got Israel on the border there, wondering what the heck is happening here. And they've already got their own fight going on. It's just there's a powder keg just waiting to blow up here. And I don't know how anybody can't see. If you put that many different groups of people into this tiny little space, and when I show you the picture of Syria here on the map, just to give you an idea of the size of the country, let's understand that the southern portion of Syria is not what we're talking about. We're talking about all that northwestern, northeastern borders down below on the west coast side. That is where all of the people are, condensed in this tiny little space. Think of it like a gangland territory in some terrible city that you're familiar with when it comes to heavy gang activity. They can't coexist in the same space without just shooting each other up. So how do you think that's any different here in Syria? And what do they all want? They all want the same thing. They all want to control the Middle East. That includes the U.S., that includes Syria, that includes Russia, that includes, who knows, maybe China's in there too. China's sitting in the wings waiting to figure out, whose side they're on and what they're going to do. There's absolutely no question in my mind that this is just a stone's throw away from being an absolute full-on Russia-U.S. conflict, right? There's too many different forces, if you will, trying to occupy the exact same space at the exact same time. It just doesn't lend well to, some sort of peaceful resolution where everybody just says, yeah, you know what? Let's just call it quits. We'll all go home. It's not happening. Nobody wants to, have their ego bruised. Everybody wants to save face, so to speak. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to continue to push until suddenly and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in Iraq too, which is right there next door to Syria. It's not that with this Islamic State that is ISIS and all their other terrorist activity that they're getting themselves into. There's almost no way for anybody with a logical approach to understanding what's going on in Syria. There's nobody who can take a logical approach to this and walk away thinking that this will just resolve itself without some sort of global. I mean, think about everyone says, well, it's not World War III, world's not involved. Okay, in Syria alone, in this tiny little country, all the superpowers are part of it. As I mentioned before, we have Iranian soldiers, we have U.S. soldiers. Even though we haven't sent 10,000, or the U.S. hasn't sent 10,000 forces, 10,000 soldiers into Syria to actually, start war. They're sending in small little pockets of soldiers to support the Syrian rebels. So the U.S. are there. They're on the ground, and they're a part of it. So they are fighting for their interests, which is to oust Assad. And then Assad has his own troops, the Syrian army, and he has Russia backing him, and Iran backing Russia. So, there's Iran's a pretty big power too, and they hate the Americans with an absolute fevered passion. They absolutely hate the Americans. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. And then, of course, there's still ISIS, and they're just trying to blow everything up, where they just want to they want to take down everything. So you have all these people fighting and doing their own thing, and then, Israel and Palestine, in Israel, they have all their own problems going on there, which is just on the, a stone's throw away from what's going on in Syria. So it's all just happening. If you just think about this logically, and the space that we're talking about here, it's not good. Something crazy is going to happen, and it's going to happen quick. We have there's a U.S. election coming up in the next little while, and the sad reality is that the new American president is going to inherit the World War. It's basically leading to a massive flashpoint, and whether it happens before the election or after, the incoming president is inheriting all of the crazy aftermath of World War III. So I hope that this summary of what's going on in Syria has helped you sort of really just hone in on how volatile things really are in Syria, and that thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are dying, and innocent people, kids, children, babies, people that have absolutely no interest in being a part of this nightmare. And I just hope that if you were wondering about World War III, I've given you a pause so that you can actually think about it logically and think about who's actually in Syria and how it's possible for this to be resolved without some sort of global backlash of some kind. This has been another Eyes Open Network video report. I sure hope that you take the time to hear what I've had to say. What do you think? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm on the mark? Do you think that World War III is inevitable? Can we survive the number of people vying for the Middle East all in the tiny little space of Syria? Can World War III not happen? I mean, of course it can happen. It's already happening. It's already started. Syria is simply just the simple proxy war center of what World War III will become. Comments below. Talk to you soon. Subscribe to our channel, the Eyes Open Network. Take care. Bye now.